Good morning, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. And welcome to the area briefing for law enforcement agencies in this area. My name is Bob Criswell. I'm the law enforcement liaison from the Highway Safety Office for the eastern part of the state. And what we're going to do this morning is have a short briefing talking about our upcoming Click It or Ticket campaign that starts on May 23rd and runs through June 5th. Now, as I go through this short PowerPoint, you're going to see a lot of things that are in there several times, and there's a reason they're in there several times because we want you to remember them because they're important. I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of your day to come out. We got a great crowd, and I appreciate that. If we could, we want to take just a minute to go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves because there's some folks in here that will probably want to be able to identify different people. If you'll start, Lieutenant.
Jennifer Salin, I'm Operations Lieutenant for Post 9
Melanie Talby, Radio Room Supervisor for Post 9.
Wayne Price, Johnson County Sheriff.
Raymond Smith, Sergeant, Paintsville Police Department.
Jonathan Holbrook, Detective, Paintsville Police Department.
Matthew Walton, Chief Sergeant, Police Department.
Jessica Williams, McGoffin County SO.
James Morrison, McDonald County SO.
I'm Kathy Prater, I'm with Around Paintsville.
Brian Ratliff, Toledo Police.
Mike Major, Martin Police.
Eddie Crown, Pike SO.
Lynn Cross, Pike SO.
Somebody back here in the corner.
Oh, I'm Kevin Horn with Around Paintsville.
I'm Scott Ratliff with WSIP Radio Paintsville.
Adam Priest with WKLW.
Sarah.
John Kirk, Martin County Sheriff. H.P. Elkins, Public Information Officer, Department of Highways, District 10 out of Jackson.
Sarah George, Information Officer, District 12, Cotton.
Gerald Clark, Preston, First Police Department. Ross Sharpwood, Preston, First Police Department.
Bruce Patterson, State Police, Field Force Division.
Steve Mills, Public Affairs Officer, Postman.
Ricky Young, Pike Police Department. Garrett Roberts, Morris County Sheriff.
Greg Dugan, Police Department.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Kevin Pelfrey, Johnson County Sheriff's Office.
We'd like to obviously, welcome everybody again. Thank our media partners for showing up today. A big part of this campaign, as we'll talk about, is the media aspect of it. We talked about the dates. The campaign begins on May 23rd and runs through June the 5th. What we ask all of our law enforcement agencies to do is increase their enforcement activity during that time, directed at occupant protection, seatbelts, child restraints, speeding, and impaired driving. Obviously, the reason for that is to lower the number of fatalities, number of people killed in crashes, and the number of people injured in crashes. We talk a lot about dates and about tickets and all that, but the message is reducing injuries and reducing deaths on Kentucky road. We got some videos I'm going to show you during this, and they're not meant to make fun of anybody or anything, okay? What they are is to reinforce to you guys the dynamics of not being belted in your car. Actually what happens to people every day, and I know you guys in law enforcement, you see it all the time. You see people ejected, people that are injured because they're not belted. So how many people in here have ever worked a night shift, been up all night, maybe being sleepy going home? Okay. Well, this guy in this video, I think that's kind of his take on it. You know, he's going home after working all night, and let's watch what happens to him. One more roll and he's been out, right? That's what we're talking about. That's what people don't know and don't understand about being belted and being unbelted. I've got another video I'm going to show you now. I think this one's from either Grant or Kenton County. It's actually a Kentucky video. and I think it was taken by a truck driver who was following this vehicle up 75. And this one was pretty widely reported in the national media, so you may have already seen it. Well, not that one. We'll just watch it again. Here you go. See the people there on the bank? Once again, you know, dramatic evidence, video evidence of what happens to you if you're not actually using your seatbelt in the car. Talk about click it or ticket. It's what's called a high visibility enforcement campaign. What that means is we do paid media nationally, so the state does paid media, and we use earned media, okay? And what earned media is basically news coverage, okay? And what we're trying to do with that is make the public aware of the dangers of some of this behavior. And secondly, obviously we're trying to make them aware that the campaign's going on. They need to consider what they're doing, buckle up, slow down, don't drive impaired, okay? So you have the media aspect of it, and then you have the enforcement aspect of it. The reason they do it that way is when you put both of them together, you get a better outcome. So this has all been for years, they've been doing it this way, and actually using the media to get the message out, and then doing the enforcement gets a much better outcome for the campaign. Some of the things that we've talked to you guys about when you're planning your enforcement is obviously doing saturation patrols, checkpoints, if you do those, but you can do saturation patrols with checkpoints interchangeably, and obviously doing aggressive, regular time and overtime enforcement. For those of you that have overtime funds, we would ask for a maximum effort during this 2-week campaign. But do remember that when you report the enforcement activity, that both your regular time enforcement and your overtime enforcement go together as far as what you report online. You want to put both those numbers together to report that. And anything unique, I know something that's been stylish in the past few years has been nighttime enforcement of seatbelts. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about why we talk to you about it and why we encourage you to do it. But any unique enforcement project that you have or that you do, we would be interested in hearing about that, because if it works and it doesn't cost much, it may be something that we could replicate across the state and get good results in other places. All right, we're going to talk about the nighttime hours of enforcement and weekend enforcement. The reason we talk about that is because that's when we see the most impaired driving, and that's when we see the most crashes with injuries and fatalities. The numbers show that seatbelt usage goes down at night and on the weekends, and what we consider nighttime hours by looking at Kentucky's crash data is 15 to 03. So that's what we would want you to think about in terms of scheduling. As far as doing the overtime is 1500 to 03 for increased enforcement during that time, and especially targeting Friday and Saturday nights for that. All right, we talked about click it or ticket. It actually started in Kentucky in 2001 when the seatbelt usage rate was 65%. And through the past 15 years, it's increased to 87%, which of course is still 2% below the national average of 89%. We're trying to work through these projects to try to increase that usage and reduce the fatalities and injuries that go with it. what we ask you guys to do is participate in this media-wise, work with your local media, work with your enforcement partners to do enforcement during that time, and then obviously we want you to take the time when it's all over with to report it. And the online reporting deadline is June 20. Obviously, that's 2 weeks after the campaign ends, so that's an important date to remember. And like I said, I'll say it 2 or 3 more times, but June 20 is the online reporting deadline. Okay, we want to talk about who's most at risk as far as unbuckled injuries and crashes. And as you can see, that 16 to 34, basically men are the most at risk to be killed. And what we're looking at with this number is a national number. Okay, it's not specific to Kentucky, but the trend's the same in Kentucky. But we're looking at, 57% of those folks that were killed in that age group were not buckled up. Okay, what we want to do is get more people buckled up and less people killed and injured in crashes. That's basically what this campaign's about. All right, this is a video. It's a pickup truck crash video. You have to watch it kind of closely, but there's an ejection in it, and like I said, I've had people tell me, well, I'd rather be thrown clear and all this kind of stuff and all that, but unfortunately, that sounds really good, but in actual fact, on the roads, there's no trampolines to land on or anything like that. You're probably going to land on something that's going to cause you serious injury, or maybe even kill you. But let's watch this real quick. Then we want to talk about drilling down on pickup truck numbers. You have to watch real close. That truck's going to come in from this side, and there it is. Okay. See the guy? Whoa. Almost as tall as a utility pole. So when people talk about being thrown clear, he was thrown clear. But I don't know if he was killed or not. But my guess is he probably was not a good outcome for him. If you watch real closely, like I said, you can see almost as tall as a utility pole. Awful to watch it. When you look at the seatbelt survey numbers for Kentucky across the state, the pickup truck numbers are by far the lowest. The passenger car numbers are up, around 90 or in the low 90s, and pickup trucks are much lower. And that's how we get to this 87% by the time you average out those numbers. When you think about when you're doing your media campaigns and stuff, please think about pickup trucks. That's something you need to mention. You need to reach out to these people and make sure that they understand that they're really overrepresented in the people that are killed. You can look at the numbers there. 61% killed in 2014 were not buckled up. And when you compare that to the 2014 number for cars in Kentucky, it was 42%. So, that's 19% difference in pickup trucks. That's something that people need to know, and people certainly need to start considering when that they drive a pickup truck. Remember, we talked about why we want to target our enforcement for nighttime. Well, when we look at last year's numbers, 2015 fatality numbers, as you can see, they were up just a little over 12%. So, and it's my understanding there's a lot of factors in that. Of course, obviously one of them being the price of gasoline. Because, gasoline's probably about half of what it was 5 years ago. So it stands to reason people are driving more. The more you drive, the more chances of being involved in a crash. And you look at the 584 who were actually killed in motor vehicle crashes, 357 of those were not wearing a seatbelt. And once again, that's 61% number. So there's a direct correlation between not wearing your seatbelt and being killed in a crash. And when we talk about doing targeted enforcement at night, when you look at the nighttime fatality numbers, as you can see from the graphic, 75% of those people were not buckled up. So there's a much greater chance, if you're not buckled at night, have ended up in a fatality crash. This is something we wanted to mention. It's a very big emerging thing in traffic safety, as I'm sure all you guys know. It's probably becoming as epidemic as far as injuries and fatalities as impaired driving. It's basically distracted driving, some of the elements of that, okay? These are some of the human elements involved as causative factors for crashes. And what we're seeing is distracted driving, whether that be cell phone use or some other type of distraction, is becoming a contributing factor in many of these injury or fatality crashes. There's so many electronics and so many things that pull your attention in a car that, you know, your attention many times divided. You know, you're not paying attention to how fast you're going. You're closing on a vehicle that turns left in front of you. There's so many things that contribute to that. That, you know, one of the aspects we want the media to think about is trying to get folks to think about just driving. Not trying to check your email, not trying to watch a movie, not trying to eat, not trying to do all these things that people do in a car. Just drive and then check your email when you get to where you're going. Following too closely is also one I want to mention. When we talk about occupant protection, that is seatbelt use, an important part that we want to remember is the child passenger safety aspect. Our surveys show that there's over a 90% usage rate for car seats in Kentucky, but that many of those seats are improperly installed. Okay, I know a lot of you have people in your agency who can be a resource to you to help you look at things like that and advise the public, but it's certainly something that you don't want to let pass. You want to use that as an educational moment, and if you have to, we need to do enforcement on it because it's a very serious issue and it's a safety habit that if you get a child started using a car seat when they're young, hopefully they'll transition to a booster seat and a seat belt right along and keep that habit as they grow older. So make that a priority when you're thinking about your enforcement plan for a particular ticket. All right, this is the overall map of the top 40 counties. We do a survey and consider a bunch of different safety factors in that survey. And they drill that down and pick 40 counties that are the top 40 out of the 120 for safety concerns. And as you can see, there's a couple of them in this area. Floyd and Pike are two of the counties in that safety concern group. The rest of them are down in the London area there, in my area, and then there's the two up in the northeast, Round and Boyd. But obviously these are target counties for us. We try to follow our data. Our data tells us that there's needs in those counties, and that's why we're there working with the media, with law enforcement and stuff to get the message out and try to turn those numbers around. This is just a map of just the east. This is basically the section that Matt and I work here. And the shaded counties are the counties of which UK does a seatbelt survey in. You see that? That's Greenham, Boyd, Perry, Clay are shaded. That's seatbelt survey counties. And then it just kind of drills down on the counties that are in the top 40 in this part of the state. Some things to consider, obviously, when you're thinking about your campaign is, like we talked about, a round-the-clock effort. You know, you want to work at night and at day, during the day too, especially targeting nighttime, weekend time. It's a statewide effort. State and local police all across the state are participating in this campaign all at the same time. And of course, what the campaign is about, like I said, is to convince people to slow down, to wear their seatbelt, and to not drive impaired. And our goal is to reduce the injuries and reduce the deaths as a result of that. We have a couple of media events planned in this area. Probably the one that we would ask for your guys' help in is the one that's planned in Paintsville this Friday, May 13th at 10 o'clock at the Billy Johnson stage. Probably everybody knows where that is at. What we need is law enforcement officers in uniform and their agents to show up to support, you know, what we're trying to do with Click It or Ticket and moving forward with other summer enforcement efforts. I think probably Sarah's going to talk a little bit about this as we wrap up here, but just so you know, that's what's going on. And obviously on the 20th, next week, we have one scheduled in the Huntington Ashland area to do the same thing. What we want you guys to do is use your local media. Go back to your local radio station, your local newspaper, cable access, your social media, your Facebook, your website, anything you can think of to get the word out on this. Please, work to let folks know what's going on with it. And if you see that link there, that's actually the link to the Highway Safety Office webpage with a lot of resources that you can use to do that. There's some of those. All of those are available to you on that webpage. All the logos are on there. If you want to Click It or Ticket logo, you want a Day and Night logo, that's all right there for you to download and use as you want. If you're going to speak, talking points are there that will give you an idea of some statistical data and stuff that you can quote. And there's radio PSAs there, about 10-second PSAs if you want to go to your local radio station and have them do it or you do it. There's just all kinds of stuff on there that's available to you and easy to use. And I would encourage you to go look at it. Talking about doing a border-to-border campaign this year, and it's going to be done with, I think, probably 6 of the 8 states that border Kentucky. And the one in this area is going to be done on US 23 at Ledger Wise County. And I think that some of the local agencies and state police are working on that for May the 23rd. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that was going on. I'm going to talk once again about online reporting. If you're here and you're not signed up to do online reporting, please let me know and I can facilitate that. I can help you get signed up because it's important that you sign up, participate, and then go report. But make a note, it's very important to remember to go on by June 20 and report your regular and your overtime enforcement data. We'll talk about, for the agencies that are receiving grant funding, what's required of them. Very simply, in this slide right here, you're doing one of them today by attending the briefing. We want you to conduct aggressive enforcement during the campaign, report by the due date, and then continue on, with your other monthly reporting as far as keeping up with that. We talked about setting those online reporting things up. You're only allowed to have one per agency, only one person that does the reporting. We want to get all the data. It's real easy to do. If you've ever ordered anything online, it's just like that. You just go, collect your numbers, go drop your numbers in, and submit, basically, what it involves doing. And Nate Dean is actually our kind of our data guru, so that's his email address there at the bottom. If you have any questions or any problems, Nate pretty much takes care of this, and he would be the guy to help you out with it. Although I think Matt can too. I know we talked a lot about And we've done a lot of training in this area about the below 100 class. Talk about the 5 tenets of it, how important it is to law enforcement as far as, wearing your seatbelt, use your body armor, watch your speed, and the wind concept along with complacency and how dangerous complacency can be. At the 2016 Kentucky Lifesavers Conference in Louisville, we trained 38 below 100 instructors, and one of them is in here today. So I guess my point is, if you're interested in sponsoring below 100 training for your officers in your location, please let us know, and we'll work with you to try to make that happen, to do that training. It's a 4-hour block of training. It's pretty simple, straightforward, has a lot of videos in it, and I think it's something that our feedback's been very positive, and obviously it makes officers rethink their driving habits and how dangerous it is for them to drive too fast or to not wear their belt. So let us know if you're interested. Captain Jans from Paintsville is a trained instructor also, so we can certainly work something out to do a class if you need it. Please be looking in the mail and in your emails. The 2016 Occupant Protection Awards is planned for July 27th in Lexington. And what that gives you is an opportunity to nominate somebody who has done outstanding work in occupant protection the past year, to be recognized for their hard work. So it's my understanding this year they're going to send out both letters to the agencies and emails. So please be watching for that, because once again we want to make sure that your guys that have worked hard get some recognition for what they've done, and just let us know if you have any questions about that. Okay, we're going to talk just for a second about the next campaign that's coming up, and that's the Drive Sober campaign. You see the dates there, August 19th, September 5th. It runs through the Labor Day holiday, and this campaign focuses on impaired driving. Of course, for us, seat belts and the use of those are a very important thing, because our belt usage is so low and our impaired driving numbers are really good. But do keep in mind, put these dates down. We'll be back here in August for another one of these briefings to get everybody geared up and moving forward on Drive Sober. This is another video. This is from California, and I've been around law enforcement since 1979, and I've never seen anything like this. It's one of those on-the-spot news stories. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but we'll watch it now.
Yeah, this is one I've never seen before, and I hope I never see one like this again. You look over across the freeway here. This is right where the 5 and the 134 freeways come together. A person was involved in a single car accident. You see a little compact car back there, badly smashed up. This happened around.
That's somebody's body who was ejected.
The driver of that car ejected up into a freeway sign overhead. You can see at the end of that ladder where that freeway sign is, they've got the body of the driver covered with a sheet. Exactly how this happened or what caused it to happen, we don't know. We don't have much information about that. You can only surmise that the driver was not wearing a seatbelt. Now, the horrific task that somebody from the fire department or perhaps the coroner's office has to climb up that ladder and retrieve that body from the freeway sign. So a person ejected quite a distance up into the air. The body ends up on this freeway sign. The sign says Colorado, exit 3/4 of a mile away. They've got a couple of lanes closed here on the right-hand side, and then somebody's got this horrific job to do. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Has anybody ever seen that before? I have. Have you? Unbelievable. I have a short video here, and this lady's Dr. Beth Baker. She is the NHTSA Regional Administrator for Region 3, which is the region Kentucky's in, and she has a short message for law enforcement.
just want to give a message out there to the guys and gals of law enforcement. First, how critically important you are to our effort. Law enforcement is the cornerstone of NHTSA's highway safety program, and that includes all of you that will be working this clicker ticket enforcement period. You know, the seatbelt is the most important safety device that's in the car, which is why we spend so much effort on ensuring that the motoring public, as well as our law enforcement partners, are buckled up. So you've got two things that you've got to focus on with this campaign. First, you've got to wear your belt yourself, because if the motoring public sees that the law enforcement isn't buckled up, they're not going to take that law seriously. Secondly, you put yourself at danger if you're in a crash. You know, each year, more law enforcement officers are killed in traffic crashes than are killed by gunshots. And that's something we don't want to see. We need to have you alive and well to be out there to do your job. And next, you've got to enforce the law with the traveling public. You know, it's not everybody that gets the opportunity to go out every day on their job and save a life. But you really have that opportunity. And the best way that we found at NHTSA to exercise that opportunity is to make sure that the public buckles up, and that usually involves brandishing a ticket book. Now, I know it doesn't sound like the most positive thing to do, but our research shows that when a law is enforced, that people tend to comply. And when it's not enforced, they don't comply. So this is why we're asking for your help in this and every other Click It or Ticket campaign. Unfortunately, you've got to issue tickets in order to change behavior. But the good part of that equation is that you are saving lives. Now, another main part of our effort involves making sure the public knows that you're out there enforcing. So that's why the state office and NHTSA on a national level buys advertising to let people know that law enforcement is out there doing their job. But there's a lot you can do on the local level too. The highway safety office.
That's the webpage I was talking about. They navigate it, you see all the resources there.
Public on what you're doing in your local area. So it's important for you to take advantage of that, so we let the public know what's going on. You know, we have a great network of law enforcement liaisons in Kentucky, and I encourage you to take advantage of that. If you don't know who your LEL is, and I'm sure most of you do, because they canvass the state pretty well, just contact the Highway Safety Office and they'll put you in touch with one of our fine LELs. The commitment of the Highway Safety Office to support and fund and make sure that these LELs get out to you and get this program and training out to you shows the commitment of the Highway Safety Office, not only to the citizens of Kentucky, but to law enforcement as well. Again, you're our most important partner, and we thank you for the work that you do every day, and we encourage you to get out there during this Click It or Ticket campaign and write just one more seatbelt ticket than you had before. So thanks very much for your help, and go get them.
All right, that's my contact info, email, cell phone number, stuff. Somebody click the lights on back there, please, Lynn. Thank you. This is Matt McCoy. He was out of the room a minute ago. Matt is actually the program manager. He and I are the team that works the eastern part of the state. So just make sure that you guys know who Matt was, for the ones of you that don't know who he is.
It's rebel free.
Yep. So this is yeah. Don't tell anybody. Where's the sign-up sheet at? Everybody sign it? Everybody signed it? Bring it up this way there, Lynn. Does anybody have any questions about what we've talked about? I know nobody will ask. Does everybody understand the dates, the reporting procedure, and what we're trying to do? Okay? Like I said, I challenge you when you go back to go to your media folks and do some local media using these resources that you have. It's really not that hard, and it's a good thing to do to get it out to the public so that they start thinking about this and try to do the right thing. Okay. I have a little bit of giveaway stuff back in the back there on that back table. I think there's some keychains and some memo pads back there and some plastic bags to put them in. I would invite you before you leave to get you some of that stuff to use, during this campaign. And I think that Sarah wanted to talk for a minute about the press event. Once again, we really need people to show up for this event on Friday at 10 o'clock at the Billy Johnson Stage in Pikeville. We really need, we need a good representation from this area at that event. We've invited law enforcement from West Virginia and Virginia, and they plan on being there. So we want to make sure we make a good showing there.
I didn't really ask to speak here. Bob acts like it's my big idea, but anybody knows me knows I can talk to a health officer. I'm happy to do so. Pike County, as you notice, was one of those counties in green, one of the top 40 in highway safety concerns. In pointing out how important partnerships with your media people are, and some of you have media folks here today, and I would encourage you to sit at their table for lunch. Don't just, get off in your little groups by yourself. Sit with your media people and talk to them, because in Pike County, it's made a big difference for the Pike County Highway Safety Team. In 2011, Pike County was the #1 absolute worst county in Kentucky in overall highway safety concerns. That's when you take all these things that Bob was talking about and put them together. Total crashes, total injury crashes, property damage crashes, low seatbelt usage, total fatalities. Take all those things and put them together. Pike County was #1. We were worse than Fayette or Jefferson County. And we've been trading places with Fayette and Jefferson for 2 or 3 years for the 1, 2, 3 spots. Now, most of you know that every county in eastern Kentucky, we like to be #1, but not in something like that. Well, Office of Highway Safety asked us to try to do something about it. 2012, we started the Drive Down initiative, and one of the critical elements of that was a media partner. East Kentucky Broadcasting partnered with us. In less than 4 years, we have dropped, Pike County has dropped from #1 to #13. We have had, overall, we have now 500 fewer traffic crashes per year than we had in 2011. That was as of the end of 2015. While the state went up in fatalities last year, almost 13%, Pike County had a 33.3% decrease in fatalities. Now, this is our law enforcement people, our health department, our trauma team at the hospital, Terry Tackett back here, who's our highway safety coordinator for District 12, does programs in the schools. Pikeville City Police has done a few new innovative programs in the schools. This is everybody doing what they do. And East Kentucky Broadcasting making sure people know about it, whether it was with public service announcements or, Stephen's been on the morning talk shows up there. They've had special programs, and now they've added DKB-TV to the mix, so we're hoping that we'll even have more exposure. It can be done, folks, if you partner with your media people, and if the media people are convinced that highway safety is a quality of life issue. In Pike County, we've got 2 of the #1 champion football teams, high school football teams this year. We've got a great medical center. We like to tout all the great things we have. We're going to open an optometry school. We've got an osteopathic school. We just think we're wonderful, and we are. But we have the most dangerous roads in the state of Kentucky. Now, that's embarrassing when you recruit doctors and professors and coaches and people in, and then you have to tell them they're driving on the worst roads in the state. But we don't have to tell them that anymore. And it's because people in Pike County are changing their behavior. Changing, anybody who has children knows that changing human behavior is the hardest thing in the world to do. But this has worked, and it's because it's been a partnership with the media, and the media people have bought into the notion that wearing your seatbelt, slowing down, putting your phone away, all these things Bob talked about are the key. The safest thing about your vehicle is you. It's not the road. The road doesn't come up and bite your vehicle. The safest thing about your vehicle is you. It's not those other idiots out there that are causing these crashes. We found out that most of our crashes were not caused by impaired drivers, by people with, hiring groceries, running up and down the road on drugs and alcohol. It was caused by people like me whose pocketbook fell over and I was trying to get it all up off the floor. Well, where was it going? It wasn't going anywhere. Or people putting on makeup while they were driving. Well, not you guys, but, some people. People holding a baby while they were driving, holding a pet. People talking on their cell phones, texting. Distracted driving was causing over 45% of our crashes in Pike County. We found out what was causing our crashes, and we tried to address it with the help of our media. You all can do that too, and on Friday, we're going to celebrate that in Pike County at 10 o'clock at the Billy Johnson stage at the Expo Center. We're going to follow it up with the fact that we're still number 7 in seatbelt usage in Pike County. That's our biggest problem area right now is Bubba in a pickup truck won't wear his seatbelt. So we're going to follow it up with a click it or ticket message, and we ask all of you to come out. We're going to form a big fan around the Billy Johnson stage with all our law enforcement vehicles, so you all have something to take film and pictures of, and we're going to have lots of cool people there speaking for a couple of minutes each. We're going to have our partners from West Virginia and Virginia there that are going to do border-to-border seatbelt checks with us during this campaign, and we'd love for you all to join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Did everybody sign the sign-up sheet? It's important that you did. How many people have not signed the sign-up sheet? Just you? Okay, we're going to do just a real quick door prize drawing. Did every sworn law enforcement officer get a ticket for the drawing? If you didn't, speak now. You draw that? Me?
Last three numbers are 538.
You're kidding. You gotta be kidding.
What is what I win?
All right.
Hey, stop at that damn Mustang no more. I want a Mustang.
I guess you had a die-cast one here.
I hope to see you guys, all of you, on Friday. Try to show up about 9:30, 15 minutes or 20 minutes to 10, so we can get everybody lined up, for this press event. Okay? And I guess we're doing it rain or shine, right? I know. Doing rain or shine, Sarah?
I'm sorry?
Rain or shine?
Rain or shine. If it rains, I guess we'll just move in the lobby.
All right? Rain or shine, be there. Okay?
Or get in.
What we're going to do now is have lunch. That's why it's important to get everybody's name on this list, because the lunches have to jive with the names, all right? They have a section set off and reserved on the right-hand side in the atrium out there in front of the restaurant. And what you do is just go through the buffet there, okay? Go through the buffet, come back out, and it gives everybody a chance to talk, network, talk about what you're going to do, and maybe, as Sarah suggested, set something up with your media person and everything. Anybody have any questions? I hope you enjoyed lunch, and like I said, let's get out there and click your ticket and let everybody see what we're doing. Thanks for coming.